My name's Phil Downing and I'm the hall manager of Harvington Hall. Now, back in 2017, I did something that many would say was pretty crazy. I locked myself inside a priest hide for 24 hours.
What a news idea that was. Do that again.
If that experience wasn't bad enough, I'm doing it again, but this time for 36 hours.
Behind me, it's propped open. This is extremely dark. This is a lot darker than I was expecting. This is 36 hours going in a priest hide. I'm going to take the camera in with me. You're going to come in there with me to start with. James will close the beam down behind me and he'll fill in the gaps where the light is getting through still. So wish me luck. And I shall see you very soon, and I'll be doing live streams throughout the day. So follow me, let's go in. So this is where you're going to see a very unflattering way of getting in. It's so dark in here. It really is. I mean, you can't even begin to tell you. I mean, look, this is pitch black. In I come. Come on. There we go. Right. This is how dark it is. Pitch black. So, there's my bucket. You can hear it. That's my toilet. Oh, this is dark. So, this is the light that I can still see, but James is now going to try and fill these gaps in as much as he can. There is a window here which has been blacked out. As you can see, that is pitch black. There's no light coming through there now. And the rest of the hide. So this could take a few minutes just to fill this in, but there'll be a slight hole at the bottom so I can pass my phone back out. Have you got enough cloth? Oh, I need air to breathe as well, yeah. Yeah, it's started to dawn on me now, the how bad this is going to be. Yeah, so I can't see now. The top left of the beam is now gone. I bet you've always wanted to do this, James. Haven't you just locked me away and just go? There we go. Right, so that's getting darker now.
Hello, so this is the start of the video diary of me being in the priest hide. I've been in here about an hour, I would have said now, into my 36-hour challenge. This room, that you'll see from the camera that it's quite light. It's not. The only bit of light I can see now is my face on this camera screen looking back at me. This hiding place is very dark, it's very cold, and it's tiny. So let's take a look. I'm going to pan the camera around. We can have a look and see what's going on in the hide. So let's just grab the camera. So this is my hiding place. If you saw me doing the 24-hour challenge a few years ago, this is actually longer. I can lie down flat. Like you can see my foot at the end there. You'll notice down the end there we have a couple of walkie-talkies. One of them on, one of them off. That's just there, of course, if I need to get out. We have my bucket down the end there, which is actually, ironically, it's a donation bucket. So that's my toilet, my gimbal there for my phone, so when I'm doing live streaming on Facebook from here. That's the doorway, the beam there. You can see it's all been filled in around the sides of it. There is a window up there. That window has got blackout material, so I can't see anything. And then we have behind me, we have the table. Not the original table to the hide. The original table was stolen just after the hide was found, but this had to be built inside the hide because it is the doorway isn't that big. And there you can see my loaf of bread with a Santa on it, and a couple of big bottles of water, and my duvet. One thing I learnt from last time was try and make it as comfortable as possible, because I did go in a bit more raw last time. I didn't have much on the floor, and it was very uncomfortable. This time I've got a duvet. Unfortunately, I can feel the floorboards already, so it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. So yeah, I shall see you very soon. Hello, right, I'm back. So this is I suppose my second clip to camera. I've been in here, I think now, it's about 3 hours probably, something like that. It's already quite difficult. It's another 33 odd hours to go. A few things, you may have just been able to hear that actually then. A few things that have dawned on me quite early on doing this is the
try to have a sleep quite quick. Well, within the first hour or so, I suppose, of getting in here, and instantly I moved just ever so slightly. Like you probably hear that, just ever so slightly move, and of course it creaks. Now, if it just took my mind back really to being, if you were a priest, and just even a subtle movement that side like that, or just like that, could actually be your death sentence. You know, you could literally, if priest hunters are outside listening, and they're around the area and they just hear that creak. Yes, a wooden house creaks, but you know, a creak like that, then they might try and investigate where they heard that noise from. Now, there is actually a passageway underneath where I am. The Mermaid Passage is very close by. I mean, that's where I'd fall to if I fell through here. So yeah, that's it really. Also, I went to the toilet earlier, and I've got a bucket, and it's it's not that big. I already need to go to the toilet again, and the bucket I don't think is going to last 36 hours. Which, of course, a priest would have also had the same trouble, you know, because he'd have had a piss pot. And of course, once that's full, it's where does it go? So you have to go on the floor where you are. I mean, do you drink it? Because you know that's. I mean, I don't know what they would have done in that instance, but I'm not going to drink it, obviously. So I'll just be able to pass the bucket back out. Noises upstairs. It's just the weird thing, even just during the day, people walking around, you try and put yourself in that mindset, just hearing the noises, and if I can hear them so clearly and loud, can they hear me exactly the same? It's scary, isn't it? Not great. Nice juicy apple though, so that's keeping me going. So hello, if anyone's watching, this is it part 3, part 4? I'm getting a bit confused, to be honest, with the amount of times I've been on. I've still sort of unbeknownst, I don't know what the time of day is. I know it's got to be night time now. It's quite an impressive hide. I've thought to myself, you know, if there was more than one of us in here, it would get really difficult. It's quite tight for one person. It's relatively comfortable. I am struggling a bit now. I've been in here a long time. There's not a lot to do. I've got a long time to go, I think. So it's quite difficult. That's weird. What's that? Oh, hang on. Someone's playing a prank on me here. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. No one here. to say, I wasn't expecting them to do that. As you can hear, it's actually got me quite emotional actually, because you imagine being a priest and listening to that. It's been absolutely terrifying, like really terrifying. I know they're not going to hurt me. I know they're going to, you know, if they find me, they know I'm here. I wasn't expecting that. They're still going. They're still going. Those noises you would have heard then are literally just what it would have been like for a priest. To be in the house and hearing that going on around you must have been absolutely terrifying. So, thanks for doing that. James, you're actually watching, and you would have been part of that. So yeah. So
So I've I don't know what the time is. I've just woken up. I've got terrible back pain and pain in my hips. I've had people walking around. I think that's just checking I'm still alive, still breathing. Again, you know, what noises have I made when I've been asleep without realising? So you've got to take that into consideration. It's so dark in here. I mean, literally the only light is this light. Got a headache. It's just very uncomfortable. You know, I know I'll be leaving here soon. Well, I hope. I'll say soon. Could be any time, couldn't it? You know, I've done this before, but you don't get used to it. Yeah, difficult. So you'd think it was quite comfy with this duvet, but it's really not at all. So I shall report back in. I'm going to try and get back to sleep now, and speak to you all soon.
good morning, everybody. I'm inside the hide still. It's morning. I know it's morning. Slept all right, ish. I've woken up with a bad shoulder, a dodgy hip. I think I'm gonna have a few bruises. I think when I get out of here. I think I'm close to the 24-hour mark. I think I just relied on my own body clock to wake me up, and so I think it's got. I'm not going to be a million miles away from 24 hours. Yeah, I've had again some very funny dreams last night. Exactly what happened to me last time. I dreamt about being in here, and I dreamt about being in here again last night. So I've had that twice now, same experience. So I'm guessing again that must be something that possibly priests would have had to endure, because you know I'm trying to do exactly the same as them, and if they're in here. But the biggest thing is, again, it's conscious of movement. I don't think I ever appreciated that so much before, and the reason I know that is because about 4 o'clock in the morning, one of the guys here was obviously coming to check on me, and I could hear them moving around, so I was about to radio to say there's someone walking around, because I could hear these footsteps. James, yeah, it was phenomenal timing. Phenomenal timing. James was the other side of the wall, basically, but he could hear me shuffling around the first few times he came around while I was asleep. So, again, if he was a priest hunter, he would have found me. So it's quite interesting to see how that works. I've lost my hat somewhere in the process of being asleep, so that could be anywhere. It's just really sore on your hips and my right shoulder in particular. The last drag is always, the last bit is always the worst, because you know it's coming, so you just clock watching. Although I haven't got a clock to watch, but basically that's what you're doing. So nothing else to report really, other than I haven't really had much of an appetite. Again, it happened last time.
Probably 'cause it's so dirty in here. Drinking plenty, and that's it. But again, thank you so much for everyone who's donated. I have seen a few of the donations that have come in while we've been doing this. I did go on live BBC Alfred and Worcester last night on the radio from within inside the hide. I chatted with them over the phone for quite a bit, which is good. So there's a bit of company for 5 minutes at least. And yeah, and there were a few people at the hall last night, so I could hear them. They were kind of keeping watch, but I think they were having fun by the sounds of it, and obviously trying to scare me inside the hide. So I mean, I can't believe. I mean, the longest time a hide was ever used for was 10 days at a place called Scott Newcastle, and there was the priest and his servant in the hide together. I mean, that's just two of you for 10 days in silence. It's just nuts, isn't it? She says, I'm a very positive person, so I'm always smiling, but trust me, inside I'm not smiling. Just want to get out of here now. But to know I've got another half a day. This is the thing, if it was like last time, the challenge is nearly over, I'll be leaving. I've seen something pop up, but there's other things. Are you cold? It goes in waves. It's getting cold again now. I was actually all right during the night. I mean, look, to the point that I've undone my coat and my shirt. So I got nice and warm at one point, but it's starting to drop again now, and I haven't got my hat. Having a hat on your head helps because, of course, it keeps the heat in. But can I find it? No, I'll tell you how bad it's got in here, how dark it is, just to tell you how dark it is. So I've got two walkie-talkies in here, one that has to be switched off to save battery, and one that's on all the time. And the amount of times I've had to grab the spare one to radio the one that's on to see where it is, that's in this tiny room, I can't find it. Would do. I'm confused where my hat's gone, because I've only been up here. Where has it gone? There is a hat in here somewhere. This, honestly, how can you lose something in a room that's only literally 3 foot wide and 8 foot long? I seriously don't. Found it. I'm really starting to lose my patience with it all now. Just want this to be done. Not knowing what the time of day is difficult. Just how dedicated and how strong your faith must have to have been to do this is just blows my mind. Hats off to them, because to me this isn't worth it. You know, I'm doing this for 36 hours. Some of these poor guys were in for over a week, and they were doing it to keep the faith alive. I mean, it's just like, wow. And I suppose it's similar, you know, things I'm passionate about, like this, for instance, doing this. I'm passionate about it, so I do it. And no doubt that's exactly the same as them. You know, they had a calling in life, and they had a job to do, and that's what they were doing. And yeah, that's me tapping, by the way. I just want to get out. Let me out. I learned a lot last time going in to the hide. This time I have a lot more respect for the priests of the day, for what they had to go through, what they had to endure sometimes. You know, so the Catholic gentry could still hear Mass, still receive the sacraments, all of that. Yeah, I'd love to just be in that headspace of what their thoughts were and how they were feeling at the time. They must have been petrified. They must have been absolutely petrified, but still they were doing it. Yeah, incredible. But just get me out of here now. I've had enough. Absolute enough. feeling that's going to happen. Oh. Ah. 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 Oh, I can't get out. Oh. 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 Oh my life. Fresh air, what's that? Lights. Oh dear. Oh. That was tough. Oh, fresh air. Oh, that's better. Oh, right. I haven't stood up yet, so this is going to be fun, isn't it? Yeah, that was tough. Thank you everybody for donating. Thank you everyone for being with me through my 36 hours. I've got a really bad back. It's lovely in here, isn't it? It's nice. Lights. Yeah, that's it really. Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. I'm out.
It's like watching the live birth.
Where's his cup of tea?
You've been born again.
Oh, sorry.
I only came in to make you a cup of tea, Bill. Cheers.
Oh,
How was that?
yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, did you keep this?
That was horrible. No, I kicked all the others over on the top of it. Over. Forward. So yeah, the empty ones. Yeah.
Do you bleed through the ceiling?
Your eyes are gone for me.
It was so dark in there.
Plenty of food.
So how did you first feel when the hide was shut and all the gaps were closed up?
How did I feel? I felt anxious, I think is probably the word for it. And just it dawned on me there's 36 hours of being locked in the dark and couldn't see a thing. Because of course you can see round the beam before you filled it in, and then when it was filled in it was pitch black. There was a tiny little white spot of light coming through. So yeah, it wasn't the best feeling.
It was a bit dark.
Mm.
Your eyes just don't adjust because you've got no light at all.
No, your eyes don't adjust to it at all until I did a Facebook Live video, and then the camera screen, the light off the screen of the camera and the fake candles I had in there. But other than that, as soon as you turn your lights off, and the other thing is what it does to your eyes, it plays tricks on your eyes because you can see lights even though you can't see lights because you just pitch black. So your eyes are trying to obviously find light. So yeah.
What was it like, the feeling when you first heard the searchers coming through the house?
So that was weird because I wasn't expecting that to happen. So it was, I heard banging, whistles blowing, people shouting, search the house, hold them there, all those things you'd have heard as a priest being in there at the time. So that was quite scary and I wasn't expecting it. At first I found it quite amusing, and then as I turned the lights off and actually sat there, it was quite scary. Even though I knew you weren't going to kill me if I was found because you knew where I was. But yeah.
What was the feeling like when the hide was pushed open and you could pull yourself back out into the fresh air of day?
That was relief. I was really excited about that, although it took me a lot longer to get out than I was expecting. I did knock the pea pot nearly over. There was a couple of buckets on top of it, my spare buckets, I knocked them over, and it was quite difficult to get out. I've got a really bad back. I feel really sore, and relief. I'm still not quite with it. I still feel a bit out of it at the minute. I just need a good sleep.
So what did you miss most in your 36 hours on the Priest Hide from your normal day-to-day life?
Fresh air, daylight, freedom, and of course my wife. Not necessarily in that order.
You saved it right at the end there.
Yeah.
So would you do it again?
Categorically, no. Although I said this 4 years ago.
We haven't heard this before.
Exactly. So I might do 48 hours yet, but I doubt it very much.
What's it like only having water, bread and an apple to eat for 36 hours?
Again, not great. No, it's just that. Yeah, it's not pleasant. I mean, bread gets very boring after a while. An apple is great, but doesn't last very long. And water gets. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I still get my head around it. I still feel a bit all over the place, to be honest. But yeah, it's not pleasurable.
And do you think that pre-tide is better than the pre-tide?
The pre-tide this time is a lot better than the last one because I can actually lie down flat in it. Although the middle, there's 3 floorboards in there, and the middle one completely dips. So you sit in a dip. So if you're sort of slightly off, your spine is against the other floorboard, which is a bit raised. But it's more comfortable. You can't move side to side. I couldn't stand up in it, but lying down was definitely a bonus.
Out of the 7 pre-tides, is that the one that you would choose if you were to ever do it again? Would you choose that one, or have you got a better one that you think would be?
I think I would choose that one for comfort. The one in the attic's great, but of course there's no flooring, so I'd have to balance on a very thin beam. But it's bigger. At least I can move around in it and do all the rest of it in it. But yeah, it'd probably be that one. I wouldn't go in one of the other ones because, of course, it's standing room only. You're only going to be standing up, and I'm not standing up for 36 hours. And it probably is the cleanest one, as you probably know, out of all of them. So I'd just like to say on behalf of myself and Harvington North, thank you everybody who's donated to this very worthy cause. It was a grueling 36 hours, but I will not be doing it again. And you have heard this here first. It won't happen again. But as I've already said many times already, we were about £30,000 short of the total amount that we need for the bridge works. Up until this point of filming this, we're up to about £4,000. So thank you very much, and I'm off for a very well-earned rest.
Este que es nacido es el gran monarca, Cristo patriarca de carne vestido.
Banging, that is a serious tune, that is, isn't it? What do you think? Banging, isn't it?